What is going on, everybody? It is yours truly, the Ace, back with another New York Giants video. Here's my New York Giants post game. Had to take a little while to cool off. For those that saw the live stream, your boy got pretty heated at the end of this game as the Giants fall to 2-6 on the year as they lose a soul-crushing loss to the Jets, I would say, 13-10, where it was a game that was ugly from the start. The rain was ugly. Both backup quarterbacks are in there, by the way. Like I said, the weather was just as bad as you will see it against a good Jets defense. The defenses showed out today. Tyrod Taylor gets injured. Tommy DeVito, our third string quarterback, is forced to go in there. And from that point on, it just became a which team is going to out-ugly the other team. Both of these teams look like shit. The Giants did everything in their power to lose this game and hand it to the New York Jets as they fall in overtime. And there's a lot to talk about and unfold in this game. Now, I completely and wholeheartedly understand you are undermanned. No Daniel Jones. Tyrod Taylor's down. Missing key offensive pieces to your offensive line. Darren Waller even goes down in this game. The defense is the only reason the Giants were even in this game. Kayvon Thibodeau had probably one of the best games of his career. Now, granted, he did mess up in overtime by going, by going off sides, which allowed the completion would have been a completion regardless, but it allowed the stoppage in the clock. But I'm not gonna hold him to that. He had a great game and was the only reason we were even in this game in the first place. Dexter Lawrence as well had a lot of pressures. But the Giants just did everything in their power to hand this game to the Jets. Brian Daboll is really high on my shit list. Now, I'm not saying get rid of him. We're not going to do anything by changing head coaches every 2 years, but he is taking a huge, tremendous step back this year. He has regressed like none other that I've seen before. He's out there coaching terrified. And last year, in situations where he would play to win, it's like this year, he's playing not to lose. Earlier in the game, we had a fourth and short situation where I'm like, yo, let's go for it. We end up trying to go for the field goal. Graham Gano, who all of a sudden reports are out of Graham Gano where he's injured, misses the field goal. When we had, this game started off good for us. We got in the field goal range early thanks to a Kayvon Thibodeau sack fumble. A chance to put more points on the board. Graham Gano misses. Okay, that's one thing. Then we go into the fourth quarter with a chance to seal the game. As soon as Tommy DeVito is inserted in the game in the middle of the second quarter, the Giants had no choice but to run the ball. And I'm going to say this, all things considered, that the Jets know you're going to run the ball, the Giants still rushed phenomenal today. Saquon Barkley, 36 carries, 128 yards. He still did his thing. When we were in a position to seal this game away and come away with our third victory, and it would have been a winning streak we'd be on because we just beat Washington last week, going against the Raiders next week, things could be starting to look up. It takes a complete 180. 4th and 1 play. I'm calling for it during the live stream. I'm like, you got to go for it here. I understand you kicking the field goal because the way they were playing, it would have been a 6-point game. They need a touchdown to win. But be aggressive. You get yourself 1 yard with your best player, Saquon Barkley, and the game ends right then and there because they cannot stop the clock. Instead, Graham Gano misses his second field goal of the game. The very next play, Zach Wilson throws a great throw by him. Tackled in bounds, but because Kayvon Thibodeau was offsides, the clock stops. Then another play down the middle. Jets rush up and spike the ball with 1 second on the clock, tie the game. Then I get real pissed off and heading into overtime, where you haven't thrown with DeVito all game. And you decide to drop back 4 times. Now, the first one was a holding. Why are you not running the ball in that situation? Now is the time when the game is on the line, is when you decide to put it in DeVito's hands. And he played like He played like he was a third stringer, like a guy off the practice squad, like thrust into that situation. If it was Tyrod Taylor, I understand. Daniel Jones, absolutely. But why are you going away from what was working? Run the football. In my opinion, Brian Daboll is the absolute reason why we lost this game. It is completely on him. Graham Gano as well. If he's injured, you need to get yourself another kicker because he is costing us games. Graham Gano was automatic last year. He is absolutely killing us this year. It could have. The Giants had multiple opportunities to steal this game away. We literally handed this game to the Jets on a silver platter. And that's why I was probably the most pissed off, is because, like, if you lose, okay, you lose. But the way everything just crumbled down the stretch was just so fucking frustrating. And it was just such a hard way to lose. Giants now sit at 2-6. I can't see a situation where, with the trade deadline approaching on Tuesday, they don't become sellers. Adoree Jackson had a terrible play on a pass interference where the ball was underthrown. Turn around. You might be able to make a play on that on 3rd and 5. Instead, what does he do? He runs right into the defender, pass interference, and it sets them up for the game-winning field goal. If you have Deonte Banks, who absolutely had a great game today against Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson had his opportunities where he went at Banks. Banks went at him as well. It was a good fight between both of those two. You got Trey Hawkins on the other side. Didn't hear much from Trey today. But if you got both of those two, and you're not sold on Adoree Jackson, you might as well just try to trade him for whatever you can get. He looks like he has taken a huge step back this year as well. And this whole Giants team, we are back to 2021. We are right back to where we started from, where we had a good year with Joe Judge off the bat, then a terrible year. Same thing with Brian Daboll, coach of the year last year. And he has just looked like absolute shit this year. Last year, the one thing that we can say from this Giants team is we might not have had the talent, but we weren't going to be outcoached. We are getting outcoached this year. Brian Daboll, like I said, is coaching terrified, like he is afraid to lose. Like you have to play to win, don't play to not lose. And that's what's the most frustrating from this Giant season thus far. 2-6, our guys are still very injured. Tyrod Taylor's probably going to miss time. What do you do next week? They're saying Daniel Jones probably won't be ready again. So you're probably looking at 2-7. The season is pretty much, it's a wrap. It's over. You might as well the Giants won't, but you might as well just embrace the tank. And with Carolina winning, you're only one game out of that top spot. And who knows, man? Who knows? It's just the offense just looked completely, outside of Saquon Barkley, the offense is like shit. Tyrod Taylor had 8 passing yards. He led the team with 8 passing yards. Once DeVito got in there, you knew they weren't going to pass. But until all of a sudden they decide, okay, let's pass in overtime, which made absolutely no sense. But, you know, it is what it is, man. This game was just another cherry on top of what is a shitty cake that is the 2023 New York Giants season. It's like, you know, this team just looks terrible. We're going against a Raiders team next week where, who knows? I don't know if we can win those games. You know what I'm saying? This was a game that we had in our grasp that we should have won. Should have been on a winning streak. Beat the Raiders next week. If we beat the Raiders next week, 3 in a row, then you face the Cowboys after that. If somehow you find a way to beat the Cowboys, you got something going. But instead, we just took a huge step back with this loss right here. Jet fans are going to talk their shit. Let them talk shit. They suck too. Their team looked like shit, and they barely beat us with our third-string quarterback out there. So let them enjoy their victory. But, you know, the Giants once again fall short, and it's just the way that we lost. Like I said, if you want to go see me snap, go back and look at the live stream. Go look towards the end of the game. I'm sure it was hilarious. But it's just the way that we lost that was the most frustrating. And, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, buckle up, Giants fans. Hold on to your hats because it's looking like it's going to be like this for the rest of the season. You know what I'm saying? Disappointing season, especially after how we finished last year. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got for you guys today, man. Appreciate each and every one of you for popping in here. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. We'll be live for the Giants versus Raiders next week. Who knows how that's going to go? You know what I'm saying? It's a shitty season. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Ace Avenue. I am yours truly, the Ace. Adios.